Well, Johnny Manziel came to town, and he and Diego, not Pavia.
Yeah. Pavia.
We're going to get into Pavia. We're going to talk about those two on their way out of Tuscaloosa on the last call. Hit the open, John. All right, here's Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. I love the fact that they use a picture of both of us from 10 years ago. You still got a football helmet on. I got short hair.
I had to put something presentable on there.
I do like the new open. You missed the elephant with the houndstooth hat?
No. Again, they obviously didn't have Jim, coming up with that open this time. Old Dunaway.
Hey, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi, the Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sports book that you don't have to go to Vegas to do. It's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. Great spot. And you guys are saying, where are you at right now, Mick? And I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I'm in Vegas. Let's see if this will work. There we go. You like? Look at that.
That ain't bad.
That's the Sphere right there. See that?
Oh, yeah. Not in Fairhope anymore.
No. Couldn't get that Bama bet in fast enough. I'm going to tell you, though, I was a little worried. I was glad we were going to win, but I was worried we weren't going to cover. And then, boom, we covered at the end, baby.
Hey, that line this week's got me a little nervous. Not going to lie.
Yeah. What? It's like 3, right?
Yeah, well, I think it opened at 4.5. That ain't good.
No.
But we're playing at Missouri, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they may be just overcorrecting for that, but it's going to be a good game. I want to watch some of that Missouri South Carolina game a little bit this week, but watching this week's game, I felt so good about our offense, and still do. I mean, I didn't look like we had any weaknesses on offense. I felt like we never could get in the groove from a play calling standpoint. It seemed like we were really getting a good push up front, and we were able to run the ball, but it just seemed like we got out of sync on first and second downs and had a hard time clawing our way back and getting first downs on third and longs or third and tens. I mean, just a few mishaps here or there that set us behind the sticks, and all of a sudden it was third down, just right off the bat. I'd say Jam Miller's making a huge difference, and we mentioned this last week. I felt like this was the week that we found our running game, and I felt like we did. Felt like we could have pushed it a little further, to be honest with you. I felt like we could have really dominated them more up front, and I mean, it's just, again, we're 5 games in, and I think Ryan Grubb's getting a good feel, and he had good plays called. It's just, when you throw the ball a lot and a few balls don't get caught, then you get behind the sticks, and that's just part of it. But it's kind of like we and you hear Shank talk about it. A lot of times those 3-4 yard runs, on first and second down, I mean, they come up big when you get those third downs. It's a lot easier to convert 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6,
right,
than a 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, guys are. I feel like everybody's coming along. I'm glad to see. Man, Isaiah Horton is. I mean, he's just turning it on, and I think, man, you watch him and Jeremy Bernard, and I think this is really good, honestly, in the long run for Ryan Williams to not be the guy that we have to lean on, play in and play out to make a play or make a big play and keep us in the game. I mean, Isaiah Horton, I think, I mean, he's made some big plays, but he can be that explosive guy as well. And Jeremy Bernard obviously can be too. But, you know, you don't have to. I felt like last year we relied for those big time explosive plays on Ryan Williams a lot, where this year, I mean, good luck trying to cover all three of those guys. And you've got Brooks as well and some other guys that are making plays. But, you know, coming up with a game plan that can stop all three of those game breakers is going to be damn near impossible. And I feel like Ryan Williams is slowly turning that corner. Like I said, I think it's great that he's not the guy that you got to watch or get the ball to all the time out of necessity. I think he's gonna really grow into his role with those guys around him.
Yeah, well, I thought the offensive line blocked really well. I wish we would have scored touchdowns instead of the field goals.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
and
that's different this year.
that was to me. I just you know it was just one of those weird games where I felt like we couldn't find our consistency on offense. I mean, it was like, you know, you have one or two good plays, or you get behind the sticks, you don't complete one of those first or second downs, and all of a sudden you're forced into a throwing down on third down, and it just is what it is at that point. I mean, everybody knows what's coming, and you got no choice. And so, I mean, some of it self-inflicted, some of it just, you know, naturally having bad plays here and there, and they just came at the worst times. The fourth down, I don't know what happened on that interception on fourth down. I'm still, you know, I haven't seen a different copy of the game, but looked like Ty just never saw that guy. I don't know what happened there.
Well, he had to get rid of the ball because it was fourth down. I mean, it ended up being a pretty good play because it was just like a punt. I mean, better than a punt, really. The guy interception, they had bad territory. But I thought that all in all, I mean, I love the creativity of the offense. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, but they're creative. And then Caden Proctor got the ball again. I mean, like I just love that they're not afraid to do stuff. That's the good part. The offense, Justin Jefferson on defense, flying around, making plays, stripped Johnny Manziel, changed the complexity of that game with that fumble that he caused. But he had a huge game.
You're gonna be mixing their names up all show now.
Diego Pavia. Sorry about it. Same guy though. It's the same guy. It was. I should just call him Diego Football.
That's right. Same guy, just not as good. he's a good player, but Manziel was a different animal. I don't know if there's not a whole lot of college quarterbacks you see with that mobility that are still accurate on the run like he is.
Yeah.
Hard to be consistent, but man, he was accurate and he was worth a watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I still worry about Bama's inability to stop the run. Although they gave up two big chunk plays. One was a touchdown, and then after that, they were able to really kind of contain Manziel. And I think that's why Bama's barely favored against Missouri. Is that
are you doing that on purpose now or no?
What's that?
You said they're barely able to contain Manziel.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm not actually. I've been in Vegas for 3 days. Okay, so brain's going a little slow. All right. They were barely able to contain Pavia. Okay. Yeah. And then, you look at the running attack that Missouri has with Ahmad Hardy, and I think that's why Bama's barely favored to win against Missouri. I mean, I don't think that – I thought Bama did a good job of adjusting to Pavia, got it right that time, and containing him. But when they had their running back going, Vanderbilt, they were kind of tough on us for a while.
Yeah. I mean, in some of those looks, we were in some tough positions. I mean, I know, my gosh, they had that first long run. I mean, mean, they had the numbers to get up to the secondary. I mean, they were blocking a safety, and it's not good when O linemen get all the way combo to a safety, because what that means is they've got the numbers and there's nobody behind the safeties. So I mean, you got a hat for a hat, and it's when you get into a numbers advantage like that, as long as you do your job and get in the way, it's going to be a big play. I mean, get some movement, but a hat for a hat, man, you're in dire straits as a defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Alexander had that 65-yard run to put Vandy up. I didn't realize. I figured it was going to be a track meet up and down the field, and it really wasn't. I thought the defenses played a lot better than I anticipated.
Well, yeah. What worries me though is that, I mean, if it's not for that fumble on the 10-yard line and the interception in the red zone, I mean, that's a scary looking outcome. And I know it's hard to go back and look at those things. And I mean, it was a hell of a play, stripping Pavia down there in the red zone. The poach safety, that's something that can be difficult to see because your eyes aren't fixed on him unless you're pretty experienced, which at this point you'd think Pavia may be able to see that and pick that up. It's it's a pretty common thing for the safety to play number 3 across the field, but I mean, great plays, great call by Kane doing that, and a great play by Keon Sabb too. I mean, seeing that, being in the right place at the right time. I think if you force him to start throwing the ball down the field consistently, you get them in trouble. I mean, we were looking at the stats last week, and it's not like they average a ton of pass attempts per game. I mean, they're a run-heavy offense, RPO you to death. I mean, they were nickel and diming it down the field on us to begin with. And, it's hard to defend a guy who can get out of the pocket and who is accurate and complete balls. I mean, he doesn't have the most powerful arm either, but he's accurate and he runs the ball, gets out of the pocket, gets it to the right guys. But yeah, I mean, I think if you keep him in the pocket and force him to throw the ball, he gets him in a little bit of trouble. That's not what they want to do. But.
No. I thought Jam Miller made a difference again. And Ty Simpson now is one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy. I know it's a little early in the season to start talking about that stuff, especially when you have a tough schedule, but he's starting to get a lot of praise for his accuracy and the fact that he gets rid of the ball so fast.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about this. I mean, to a point where we're just beating the hell out of a dead horse. But I mean, the guy, and I don't see guys like that typically don't have bad games. Like, I mean, when you watch those guys that are that advanced, mentally, I mean, at some point they're just getting out there and it's like a practice. I mean, they know the answers to the test. They know where to go with the ball versus, pretty much every look. They've seen it all on tape for the most part at this point. There'll be some wrinkles here and there, but as you go deeper and deeper into games, coaches usually revert back to what they usually do. And there'll be some hiccups here and there, but you watch that guy, there's no hesitation with where the football's going. And if it happens, it's very seldom. And again, I mean, even if you play some man coverage and you lock some guys down, it's going to be very difficult to do that over and over and over again against Alabama because, again, like we mentioned earlier in this show, you got Jeremy Bedard, Isaiah Horton, and Ryan Williams. And Brooks is coming on too. So, I mean, you're going to have to be creative to stop these guys. I mean, I think we talked last week about Vandy playing a lot of too high zone and they kind of bend and don't break. We were able to move the ball. And when you're able to run the ball, either and stay in that base defense, you got to do something to change to keep us from running the ball. And once you start playing the run a little bit, I think you're playing right in Alabama's hands.
Well, it's the Bama ability to throw the ball is really I think their strength, but you have to run the ball to keep the other team honest. And to see Jam Miller get 136 yards running, I mean, it was the coming out party for the running attack. I know some of you guys said that on shows last week, and I really think it was. I like the fact that Alabama was so disciplined too. That this is 2 weeks in a row, 2 games in a row where Alabama hasn't shot themselves in the foot with penalties. I thought the penalty that they called on Parker Brailsford was terrible, and the other holding penalty before that wasn't great.
Oh my gosh, that hold on Parker Brailsford. I mean, that was atrocious, and that was if I remember right, that was a drive killer too. I mean, that was wasn't that. I mean, that just killed the drive right there.
I thought the fix was in. I mean, like, and then
after it looked to me like the guy was holding on to his face mask too. I mean, I don't know. I just, when you talk about holds, and people say, you can call on every play. I mean, I think it has to be atrocious for a flag to be thrown. I mean, it has to be so obvious that I mean, when that flag comes out, everybody, you're calling it before the flag even hits the ground.
Right.
I don't know. I just. Because some of these holds, like that one, you watch, it's like, man, what are we doing here? He had to have gotten tricked and seen more than what he thought really, or thought he saw more than he really did.
3 penalties in the entire game. This is the most disciplined Alabama football has played since 2020, and honestly, maybe even before that. And this was an area where I felt like Saban was kind of slipping towards the end of his coaching career, was the discipline that it takes to have everybody on the same page, not having these penalties, playing smart football. Back-to-back weeks, Bama's played close games where they have just the other team has made brutal mistakes, and they haven't. When I'm talking about penalties, personal fouls, jumping off sides, doing dumb stuff, they just haven't done it. And I'm proud of them. I think it takes a lot of hard work. And, I have personally, at times, I've been critical of Coach DeBoer for not having the team ready and not the discipline. I thought that was where Alabama lacked last year. I got to give them a ton of credit for growing and doing it. Like, hats off, because that's why they've won these last 2 games.
Yeah, no, that's right. And look, I think it's got a lot to do with, I had, what's his name? Marvin Constance. I remember I went on their podcast, I guess it was last football season. And he was asking me a question about just basically fans and media, but mainly fans, giving their team hell, complaining about play and this and that. And I think he was expecting me to, to say, we need to lay off the players. But when you look back at week 1 and Florida State and the reaction, I mean, there's a standard at Alabama, and that was not the standard. And I have to agree. I mean, I wasn't happy watching that game, thinking that, the Alabama football legacy is being upheld, because, I mean, Alabama's all about effort. Always has been, in my opinion. I mean, that's what that's how the brand was made. Effort and discipline. And then, if you end up, putting yourself in a position to get the best players in the country, then you're going to start winning national championships. And that's what Coach Saban did, bringing Alabama back. I think Kalen DeBoer is repositioning ourselves to be in that national spotlight up at the top again. I mean, if you watch the last 3 weeks, I mean, we can play with anybody. We've got the potential. But I think this team, along with Coach DeBoer and the entire coaching staff, I mean, you listen to the outside noise, and either, again, being a part of Alabama, either you put that effort forth and you have that discipline and people are proud of you no matter the outcome because of what you're doing on the field, or, you have Saturdays in Tallahassee and your legacy at Alabama is going to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we talked to Clinton Dix. You listen to Jeremy Bernard. To me, it sounds like the mentality of that complex has completely changed in the last 3-4 weeks. I mean, it's all accountability and toughness. And I mean, we played like that against Georgia. This past week against Vandy. I mean, we had a few mishaps. Don't get me wrong, but I never watched us and said, "Man, that's just god awful. That's a god awful attempt. That's terrible intensity." I mean, there was none of that. And we had our bad plays, and it is what it is. But man, I've really enjoyed watching us grow over the last 2 weeks. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Ryan Grubb criticized the team's execution in the red zone. I think that's an area where they certainly could get better, and they're going to need to get better when they take on Missouri. But all in all, I'm with you, man. I couldn't have said it any better. It's exciting to see the growth that this team's had. So anyway, any final thoughts before we wrap up our first show this week? I'm in Vegas. And you're in prison.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes. Let me say this: Vandy is better than I thought they were, because I didn't think they had proved it. I didn't think they had proved anything this year so far, and I wasn't sure what to believe about them. I knew they were going to be a disciplined team, but fundamentally, I think they're a good football team. I mean, it's a different Vandy, that's for sure, and. Whenever you get a win, you got to be happy about it and celebrate it. I wish we'd have won by a little bit more, and I think we were capable of doing that. But we just, you have some plays that go your way, you have some that don't. I felt like we grinded our way through that game until we finally, started smoothing out and keeping it between the lines, and the best team won Saturday. Again, like I said, like to win by a lot more, and I think we were capable of that. But this team's showing some growth, showing some real leadership, finding a way to win games, and that's how I felt like Coach Saban's teams were towards the end. I mean, I think we had a few more penalties, and we weren't quite as dominant on defense, but those teams knew how to win. I mean, they had leadership. Those guys found a way. And I feel like that's where we're getting right here with this team this year.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Well, look, we'll be back later on this week with Last Call. It's brought to you by Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course right there at Pearl River Resort. Golden Moon Casino hosts the Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sports book. I'm telling you, man, I'm in Vegas right now. I've been to a bunch of the sports books. And Golden Moon, the Timeout Sports Lounge, is as good as any of them. You can get in there. You don't have to – a lot of these places you have to buy a seat to sit in there, or you have a table minimum. Hey, you got to spend $500 to sit at that table. None of that at Pearl River. 20 big screen TVs. All the games are on in there. Full-size bar. And it's easy to get to the window to bet, whether it's the kiosk or the window. So check out Pearl River Resort and the Timeout Sports Lounge. I'm going to play their spokesman, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.